Welcome to my YouTube channel, Moments That Rock by Tony. This is a section called Plundering the Archives. When we do that, we go way back then. If you like a little bit of music history and everything in between, i.e. all things music, then please go and subscribe. This is an interview I did for my radio show back in 1985 in the UK. The Ramones hail from Queens, New York, and formed in 1974. They're often cited as the first punk rock band. Sadly, the original four members of Joey, Dee Dee, Johnny and Tommy have all since passed away. It's Joey and Dee Dee you'll hear now, talking about their music and the impact they had on their die-hard fans. R.I.P. guys, you sure as hell kicked ass.
This is in fact your first visit to Britain for what, some 5 years or so?
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 years, I don't know.
It'd be unfair to say this is the return of the Ramones, because you've never in fact been away, have you?
No. We're just better, you know. But we have a new drummer now, so I guess it's his first trip, you know, here or anywhere.
I was reading something in the press that said, I'm not sure which one of you said it, but Richie being in the band made it fun being in the Ramones again. Does that in fact mean that there was a time when you were getting a bit fed up with being Ramones?
Well, with Mark in the group, we had a lot of problems. We were fighting, and now with Richie, we get along better.
Because in fact your original drummer's now producing you, isn't he?
Yeah. He was he was away for a while. Now he's back, and we're using him again.
The actual Ramones association with producers, I think it'd probably be true to say that hasn't worked out too well in the past, has it? With our own Mancunian Graham Goldman.
I think it worked out well. I like those albums. You know, I like the Graham Goldman album. It was different. But, you know, we can't always do the same thing, you know. We like to do different things sometimes. No, Graham was good to work with, you know.
There's a lot of new technique and stuff, you know, but I feel I'm happy, though, with our, you know, sort of doing now what we set out initially, in a sense. Except it's better because we're, you know, as you go on, you gain experience and you learn a lot more. You know, I mean, it's sort of, this album sort of has almost like the initial intent of what the Ramones are, but you know, but the songs are more diversive, and I think, you know, I'm happy.
And what about the Phil Spector Association? Was it just Johnny, in fact, was the only guy who took to Phil Spector? The rest of you hated it, did he?
Nah, actually, it was me. We got along well, you know. We sort of established this sort of, you know. But I thought it was, you know, I like the album. I think it was a good album.
Was it a time when you think you lost some fans in Britain, though?
No. Well, I guess we weren't so popular for a while, but we seem to be popular now. We'd like to do a big tour of Britain. We're coming back in June. We tried to get over here and do as many shows as we could, but this is all we could get. But now the album's doing well, so they're going to bring us over here again.
It's a shame, really, because it really is a long, hard slog around the country, but I think nowadays, when there is interest in your record, it's quite an important thing that you need to do.
You can't do it without the record being successful. You can't come over here. As it is, we lose money, and the record company has to, like, pick up the tab, but it's worth it, because the fans are really good, and you get a lot of fan mail from Britain, and you want to come over here and play.
Do you find a lot of your die-hard British fans are still with you now?
Yeah. I mean, even last night, like, the Dam came by, and, you know, it was great to see them, you know. And I mean, that's how it is in the States too. I mean, it's cool because we're getting a whole new, you know, bunch of kids coming down who are just getting into rock for the first time in their lives, you know, and they're coming to see us, and that's great, you know. So I feel we'll give them the right education as opposed to them getting into you know, an REO or something like that, you know. But, you know, we're getting like, but, I mean, like, the Ramones fans have always sort of been the great melting pot in a sense, because we never just got one type of fans. We always got, like, a broad spectrum of kids, you know. We get heavy metal fanatics and, you know, college kids and, you know, just people that love, you know, real exciting rock music, you know. And, you know, as well as our initial fans are now, like, the new generation of kids. So it's great, you know, it's great.
Because I suppose when you were at your peak here, 76, 77, it was a pretty exciting time in Britain with the Pistols and the Buzzcocks, and here you are back in Britain, 3 or 4 weeks after you've sent us Foreigner to #1 of the British charts. It must be a different sort of scene in Britain for Americans looking on.
Well, in America, the scene is really exciting now. You know, it's like there's a lot of new young bands, and I don't understand what's going on in Britain, though. They're playing all that techno pop or something, you know, and we thought it was time for us to come back here and play some rock and roll for everybody, you know, so they can see what it's like.
You've been quoted as saying I forget which one of you, is it yourself, Didi, that's the hardcore fan?
Oh, I like hardcore music a lot. We're very popular with the hardcore movement in America because we're good to dance to. And we play punk rock, so like according to the strict rules of it, we don't like when we play, we're the genuine thing, you know, and all the kids like. It's very funny because usually they don't like bands that aren't their own age. You know, most of these kids are very young, but for some reason they like us. You know, and
yeah, but doesn't this in itself mean that they're a bit bored with what they're getting?
No, there's a lot of good bands out there. There's plenty of good bands. There's a very good scene in New York and CBGB's. You can go there in the afternoons. They have shows for the kids, and all the hardcore bands play. And they come from all over the country to play CBGB's. And in every city there's a scene, you know. And they make their own independent records. And there's record stores for the hardcore that only sell hardcore records, and it's great. So I even saw a video for from Suicidal Tendencies called. Have you ever heard of them? They're one of my.
They're from West Coast band though,
yeah.
They're not New York.
A lot of the good ones come from California, and then there's some of the established ones like the Dead Kennedys and the Circle Jerks and. Black Flag, and we play a lot of shows with them. We played with the Dickies a lot too. There's a lot of good groups in America.
So would you, on a night off, if you ever get any night offs, would you actually go out and see any of these bands? What about you, Joey?
Yeah, no, I look forward to going out and seeing a good band, you know, and, you know, having some fun, you know, on a night off, you know.
Seems quite ironic now in 1985 that the hardcore explosion in America has probably helped you, when in fact back in 74 in CBGB's and Max's Kansas City and things, you were responsible for the start of it all in many ways.
Yes, we did start it. Everybody borrowed the idea from us. Like, nobody used to wear leather jackets before we wore them. That wasn't in style, and now you just walk around, you see everybody wearing a leather jacket. And the power chording, and a lot of the bands count their songs 1, 2, 3. But we don't mind, you know. It's all good. It's good.
It's flattering, you know.
Do you?
I always felt like we were the example, the catalyst and the example, you know, and still still are, whether it be bands or artists or record companies, you know, because like nobody was getting signed before we had gotten signed. Also, they waited a year to see our progress, you know, and then they started signing everybody in the world, you know, like the major labels, you know.
On the subject of getting signed, I mean, your record was available on import for quite a while, and again, I read you were having trouble getting a deal in Britain. I found that hard to believe, because when I picked up the album, I mean, it was to me, it was such an instant album.
Well, I found it kind of strange, too, because I felt we've done so much for history, rock history, and, you know, and all, but it seems to still come down to dollars and cents, and you're selling, and this, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, but even so, with the big companies like the EMIs and the CBSs and the Warners, I mean, they've heard of you, so it's a good enough reason for them to sign you.
They don't like us, though. But also,
you frighten them.
No, well, we don't know what.
Find, a Culture Club clone or something like that, you know.
You see, we're not trendy. Like, we lasted 10 years, and we're not going to go away in another year like a fad. A lot of these groups, they're big for like a year, you know, but then they just fade away, and like, we have it made. We've had a career here, and we're going to keep playing. And what makes it hard, though, is like it's like for some reason it's even hard to come over here and get jobs. No one wants to book us. But maybe they will now.
Fond memories, but very sad too, because both Joey and Dee Dee, who I was talking to then, have since passed away. That, of course, is the Ramones, and that was part one. And the second part of the Ramones over the next few weeks. Way Back Then is part of Moments That Rock, where we dig deep into the archives, dust them down, and deliver them. Stay tuned for more archive interviews on Moments That Rock by Tony, our YouTube channel. And please go and subscribe immediately.